Miss Lackey is teaching a small group lesson with her 3 students in the resource room. All is well, then disaster strikes. A severe and disruptive disaster behavior halts instruction.
Connor, please go to the timeout area.
I'm not going.
But Connor, you can't begin earning points again until you go to the timeout area for 1 minute quietly and then return back to class.
Okay.
Hi classmates, we're going to learn about removal timeout today for severe disruptive and aggressive behaviors. What are severe disruptive and aggressive behaviors? They create a dangerous situation or they halt instruction. Here's some examples. Don't these guys look like fun students you'd like to have in your class? I think they would be a joy. They are actually a joy because they're a challenge, but we just want them to not do that. But anyways, loud verbal abusive language, attempted or physically abusive behavior, property destruction, throwing objects, other behaviors as determined by teacher. You must combine the timeout plan with a plan that rewards appropriate behavior like the beeper system or the task engagement program. The token economy is my favorite. I hope to share that story with you guys sometime one day. A plan that rewards appropriate behaviors with reinforcers. So here are some reinforcers. Anything the child enjoys is considered a reinforcer that you can give them. What do you need? You need a timeout area. You need a timer. There's some data collection forms in our text, and you can use other forms of your choice. Here's the timeout removal policy form. Take a minute and pause the film if you'd like and read through this. Here is the removal timeout program teacher design plan. You need that plan in place. When you're removing students, you need to know why, and you know that you're doing that and how and when. The timeout area should be void of objects that students could use to entertain themselves. Look at that little guy. He's just having a great time. That is not a valuable timeout space. So you're also going to want to use the removal timeout sheet form posted in the area to keep track of each removal timeout and the timer. Here's this removal timeout sheet tracking sheet. Timeout area outside the classroom if needed. With extremely disruptive behaviors or aggressive behaviors, a place outside the classroom may be needed. You're going to want to get your site administrator, your principals involved in this, maybe a classroom teacher next door if you need an outside the area timeout. Planning. You want to always make sure you use the appropriate behavior reward system. Positive behavior supports. You want to define the behavior and collect data before you start the intervention. There's a frequency chart you can use, or you can use a functional behavior analysis form or any other data collecting form you'd like to use. Functional behavior assessments, essential. We want to prevent those behaviors, and to prevent the behaviors we have to know why they're occurring. You can get assessments from IRIS or any of our text. My favorite assessments that I've found are some we had in a module: the student-directed functional assessment interview form and the functional interview form. And I'm attaching those in the discussion post for you guys so you can find them easily. There's that functional assessment observation form. When problem behavior occurs, guide the child to the timeout area, set the timer. If the child is quiet after the timer goes off, he or she returns to activities. If the child continues to be disruptive in the timeout area and the timer goes off, students stay in timeout. Once the student calms down, set the timer for a short time. The student cannot earn points in the timeout area. Don't pass go, don't return to class until you are quiet, and then you can begin earning points again. With another severe behavior, no matter how close to the other one, the process begins again. Caution, 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 caution. Removing a child from instruction is considered restrictive. Removal timeout should only be used for severe disruptive behavior. It can have legal implications, especially if you're removing the student to a different area of the school. Positive supports. Combined with positive behavior supports, a functional behavior analysis, and a behavior intervention plan, collaborate with the parent, the local education agency, your principal or administrator, the student, very important, the student. You, your general education teachers, and other personnel as appropriate, like a behavior specialist. Be sure to teach appropriate behaviors. We shouldn't just be punishing children, we should be teaching them how to behave appropriately. Here are some important questions for thought for you to think about. What criteria would necessitate removal timeout? Should teachers be trained in crisis management? Why or why not? Do some research on what crisis management is in case you don't realize. Would it be more important for teachers of older students to have crisis management training? Yes, yes, yes. If the student is bigger than you, you definitely would like to have crisis management training. What program that rewards appropriate behavior would you combine with removal timeout? How could the teacher change her behavior, classroom, and instruction to decrease disruptive behaviors? Hint, you can look in Chapter 11 of Yale. There's lots of things in our sample classroom and with our sample teacher's behavior that could have probably prevented this disruption. So check that out and have an absolutely wonderful day, ladies and gentlemen.